So you've got these pilgrims flooding through the streets of Jericho on their way to Jerusalem, and this blind man sitting right by the side of that road with all these people coming through begging. This man probably lived in rags and poverty. That's what I would imagine if he's a beggar. He would have lived a life of misery, of wretchedness, of gloom, probably a sense of helplessness. He had to rely completely on others just to have food to get by for one more day. And as such, he's a picture of millions of lost people today. Lost people are spiritually blind, and they're spiritual paupers in God's sight. And so, think about those things for a minute. Try to put yourself in the place of Bartimaeus, and instead of focusing on the physical blindness, focus on the blindness of men's souls for just a moment. 2 Corinthians 4:4 says, the God of this world, the devil, has blinded the minds of the unbelieving, that they might not see the light of the gospel of the glory of Christ, who is the image of God. So Satan has blinded men. They can't see. Over in 1 Corinthians 2:14, it says that the natural man does not accept the things of the Spirit of God because they're foolishness to him, and he cannot understand them because they're spiritually appraised. He's blind to them. He can't understand them. It's like a blind man trying to see something you're describing. It's just impossible. Over in the book of Ephesians, Paul describes this state of the blind or the lost man in chapter 4, verse 17 and 19. He says, so this I say and affirm together with the Lord, that you walk no longer just as the Gentiles also walk, and here he describes their walk, in the futility of their mind, being darkened in their understanding, excluded from the life of God because of the ignorance that is in them, because of the hardness of the heart. And they, having become callous, have given themselves over to sensuality for the practice of every kind of impurity with greediness. Now notice the words he uses to describe the unregenerate person. He uses words like the futility of their mind, darkened in their understanding. He talks about the ignorance that is in them. All of these words tell us that they have a certain blindness in an area of their life. It's not to the things of the world. Their sight's perfect when it comes to that. But when it comes to the things of God, the things of the Spirit, the beauty and glory of Christ, they just can't see it. They're blind to it. Let's say that I was taking a blind man and we took a trip together to the Grand Canyon. And we stand there on the brink of the Grand Canyon and I'm going, whoa, I can't believe my eyes. This is amazing. And the blind man goes, what are you talking about? It's, don't you see it? I mean, it's right there. We're standing on the brink. It just blows my mind to think of that. And he said, well, what are you talking about? This is the Grand Canyon. What's the Grand Canyon? Well, it's a giant hole in the ground. It's like a mile deep, 18 miles wide, and 277 miles long. I mean, it's incredible. And so this blind man can hear the facts and the figures, and he can try to piece those things together, but he'll never see the glory of the Grand Canyon until he's healed, his eyesight is restored, and guess what he's going to say when he sees the Grand Canyon? Whoa! I can't believe my eyes. This is breathtaking. Because now he can see the glory of the Grand Canyon. So lost people are blinded to the glory of Christ. Not only that, but they're spiritual paupers. They're in a state of spiritual poverty. They have nothing that they can recommend themselves to God. They have nothing of their own, no righteousness of their own that they can bring to God by which He will accept them. They are penniless. They are destitute in a spiritual sense. Let's say you're indebted. Let's say you're in debt $100,000 to a banker. And you go, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to pay this debt off. And so you go walking down the street and you start picking up trash, putting it in your shopping cart, and you wheel that shopping cart into the bank and you say, Mr. Bank Manager, I'm come to pay my debt. Here you go. What's the bank manager going to do with you? Throw you out, right? You crazy man. You know, you can't pay off your debt with garbage. But we bring our righteousness, our supposed righteousness to God, and it looks like garbage in His sight. We have nothing that we can pay off our debt with. We need the riches that come only from Jesus Christ. His righteousness that He lived is a gift that He grants those who trust Him. Praise God. So this blind beggar is a picture of millions and millions of people today. People that you know, your neighbors, the people you work with, your friends. They need their eyes opened and they need to be given the gift of God's righteousness.